Hi everybody, this is Jason Fisher from timeandfreedom.com, here to do a review on the company Jeunesse and really talk about why there's no long-term residual income, not only in Jeunesse, but really it's a common problem throughout the industry. We're going to go over 3 key essentials that Jeunesse does not have when it comes to providing long-term residual income for the masses. And we're going to talk about those 3 essentials that any company needs, for that matter of fact. But we're also going to talk about a universal principle that if it's applied correctly, there's massive success in this industry, and if it's applied incorrectly, there's massive failure. So I've been involved with this industry for 24 years. I have one of the top leading incomes in the industry. I started at the age of 17 years old. I got my organization to an amazing 5,000 number count. I had 5,000 folks, and after 12 years, it dwindled down to 56 people, losing everything in my business. So I feel that I have the right to talk about this, and hopefully that this makes a lot of sense to you. And if you've been in Jeunesse, maybe you're here for the first time, you're doing a review on Jeunesse, or maybe you've been involved with the company and you're experiencing some of the internal problems, we're going to share that. I've been talking to a lot of leaders, as I do in a lot of companies. That's what we do at timeandfreedom.com. So let's talk about this universal principle that if it's applied correctly, massive success, and if not, massive failure. It's called the 80-20 rule. You know, the world is made up of the 80-20. We've all heard of that. How that applies into this business, we'll talk about that in a second. But it's a universal principle. 80% of the money is earned by 20% of the people, or 80% of people don't do much. And that's in any industry. Take 10 doctors, 10 lawyers, 10 chiropractors, 10 cab drivers. 2 are going to shine and 8 aren't going to do too much. And it's typical in the home-based business. Out of every 10, 8 aren't going to do much while 2 do something. Well, then I started thinking, if I'm going to throw my time and energy and reputation into something one more time, I better go find something that the 80s can do, because what I was in was not a 80%er business, it was a 20%er business, or as many of us in this industry feel, it's a 95-5%er business. But in order for these type of businesses to work, we need numbers, and numbers equal orders, and orders equal residual income, and whoever has the most orders in the end is going to have the most residual income, period. The question is there a difference from business model to business model? And I'm here to say that there is. Because when you look at the landscape of the network marketing, multi-level marketing industry, it's very clear that they're all 20%er deals from the price point of the product. They're made for the 20%ers. Those are the only ones that can justify it. The only people ordering in the end are the 20%ers. The only people that can justify those product at those price points are the 20%ers. The compensation plans are written for the 20%ers. Never in mind of the 80%ers. And we know that to be true because all the network marketing companies out there, they all have between 5 to 11% of their sales in any one country or continent around the world, because the only people they have ordering in the end are the 5%ers. Well, I said to myself, if I'm going to throw in, I need to go find something for the average Joe, the average Mary, the average person that doesn't have any sales experience or large driver tenacity, and one that can't really justify expensive products in the marketplace. And if I could do that, maybe I could win. And I said to myself, if I could find a business model that could work for the 80s, I could win, because here's what happens in all those 20%er deals. 90 to 120 days after the person shows themselves as the 80%er and they find it hard to promote that type of product at that price point, what's the first thing that they do after 90 to 120 days? Not only do they quit the business, but here's the most unfortunate piece. They become a number off the board because they didn't even stay as a consumer or a customer of that company. And now they're down to nothing again. I said to myself, if I could find a business on 2 levels. Number 1, a business that the 80s could promote, successfully promote, that they wouldn't have to justify an overpriced product, they could really duplicate it, and they could see good income. Then I was going to have a huge hit. But here was going to be the home run. If I could find a business that whether the 80%er took action or not, they still had overwhelming value to be a consumer first and foremost of that business model, then I was going to have a huge, huge home run. And I will tell you this, that this 80-20 principle, if it's applied correctly, you can see long-term residual income for many decades to come. And if not, you're going to see it fail at the end, like I did having 56 people. Well, here, this universal principle, this needs to be applied to these three essentials. Keeping the 80%ers in mind, here's the three essentials that you need along with this 80-20 principle. Number one, you need products for all. You need products that people have to buy, have to use, and have to reorder every month. Well, let's talk about how that applies to Jeunesse. Jeunesse has great products, but they're niche products, and they're not products that people have to buy, and they're definitely not products that people buy normally at that price point. Here's number two essential that you need for long-term residual income. They have to be priced competitively in the marketplace against other products that the average person would normally shop for. Well, Jeunesse has great products. Some are necessities, not most of them. You're creating a new buying need in the marketplace that most people would never bought before, but the price point is really high. So if you want to throw in and build a business to last a lifetime, you need products that people have to buy and have to use, but they have to be drastically less than where they currently shop at. That's point number two. And here's point number three. And this is where Jeunesse falls, and a lot of companies do. You can't ask people to buy more than what they normally would consume of those type of products on a monthly basis. So the question is, 90 to 120 days before the Jeunesse opportunity, were people buying those type of products at that price point, and were they buying that much of that product, trying to meet the $100 to $150 to $300 a month sales quota that's typical in a lot of these companies to stay actively qualified? The answer is no. So here's how you fix the problem of not having long-term residual income and how to have lifelong residual income. You find a business that has necessities for all, products that people have to buy, have to use, have to reorder. They have to be at Walmart or below price point. If you're trying to cater to the 20%ers, you have a niche market and you're going to lose the 80%ers. You need to keep people buying without even the financial gain or the promise of financial gain. They have to buy because it makes sense to be a consumer first and foremost. And number three is, you've got to have a low monthly qualification. Can't be the $100, $150, $200, $300 a month. It's got to be about $50 to $60 a month, 5 or 6 items a month. You can't ask people to switch everything, and you can't ask people to create a new buying habit. Well, that's the business model that myself and a lot of industry leaders have found and have deemed to be the only business that creates lifelong residual income. We have a business that absolutely makes necessities, products that are more natural, more green, and organic in a lot of cases. Products for all, things people have to buy. We're not switching people's buying habits. Number two is the price below grocery store pricing. And number three is the monthly is really low so that everyone could participate. So if you could have products that everyone has to buy at a price point that's really competitive and where you're not changing people's buying habits to the tune of $150 to $200 a month in overpriced niche products, you can have a customer base that lasts a lifetime. Well, myself and many other industry leaders, we found that business. It's a solid business that has done what took us 19 years to do. We did last year alone in just the last 12 months. We are growing like a weed right now, and we are growing faster than any startup company out there. And if you would like to find out the business that we have chosen that truly is producing lifelong residual income, working with leadership that knows how to build a business long term, then fill out the information below, click the button so that we can go over the business model in depth that we have chosen. If you're looking for your last business, we can help you. If you're looking for your next one, we can. And if I hear one more industry leader say that they're ready to go on a new journey and they're on their 7th or 8th deal, I'll tell you, the only reason why they're continually doing that is they're not following the 80-20 principle we just went over, and they don't have those 3 key essentials that every company needs if you're going to have a long-term customer base that stays long-term. Thanks for joining me. This is Jason Fisher from timeandfreedom.com.